If you've been keeping your eyes peeled for game-related patents of late, you'll have noticed that Sony have submitted a patent that should allow people to use non-game-related items as controllers. Now, I don't know whether they designed this while they were having a bad trip, or if they're just a bunch of idiots, or maybe they're a bunch of geniuses, who knows. But this is interesting, and there's an article here, as you can see, from GamesIndustry.biz, and they put it like this. Sony's controller tech is literally bananas. And then they go on to mention that PlayStation 5 maker produces an unusual new interface and offers a look at what might be the new PlayStation VR 2 controller. Now, this new interface isn't the new PlayStation VR 2 controller because they go on to talk about another patent, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I do think this particular patent is quite interesting. Not least because it's bloody hilarious. But let's just move down a bit and see what Sony have to say. There's a quote here, and this is what they say. It would be desirable if a user could use an inexpensive, simple and non-electronic device as a video game peripheral, the application reads. The present disclosure seeks to address or at least alleviate some of the above identified problems. Now, the first thing I notice here is that they say that it would be desirable if a user could use an inexpensive, simple and non-electronic device. Well, it might be desirable to the user, but I'm not sure it would be necessarily desirable to Sony because obviously if they're not selling controllers, they're not making money. But maybe we should leave that aside. I do think that suggests that maybe we might not see this, though. Certainly not in your mainstream. I don't think we will anyway, but it's interesting to speculate. The article goes on. As you might have guessed from the headline, Sony's answer to the problem is bananas. Well, not just bananas. What the application describes is a method that works with any non-luminous passive object being held by the user. And I'm certainly not going to be using my non-luminous passive object as a controller. I'll tell you that for nothing. But anyway, they go on. It says it could be a mug, a pen, a glass, or as in the inventor's preferred examples, bananas and oranges. And I think Rich at Review Tech USA is going to have a field day because he's going to get the cucumber out again, isn't he? I wouldn't be at all surprised to see we get a video from him where the cucumber makes a reappearance. And I also think that the porn industry is going to like this one as well. Especially as you'll be able to map buttons onto any non-luminous passive object. So gives a whole new meaning to the term pushing people's buttons. But as we can see here, there's a picture and they're showing an image of a banana. I don't know, maybe Sony are trolling us at this stage. But as you can see here, we've got X and triangle. So they'll be able to map buttons onto these ordinary objects. Now, I'm not sure who said this. It was another article, and they mentioned that this might have applications such as games to life and stuff like that. And I could see that happening. You could actually get a figure and you could maybe map some buttons to the figure or do something like that. That could be interesting. The other thing that occurred to me, and I'm not sure that I've seen anyone else talking about this, but the thing that occurred to me was accessibility. And I was thinking, rather than an ordinary household object, maybe you could have a kind of generic controller with a couple of buttons, but all the other buttons could be mappable. So that if you're disabled in some way, you could set the controller up precisely to suit your way of playing. And obviously we've seen this with Microsoft with their accessibility controller, but this could provide another way of going about doing that. So, as I say, all joking aside, this does have some real-world applications, or potentially has some real-world applications. And the other one, and obviously we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment, but the other one's VR. Now, they go on to say down here, the last time this column, sorry, I'll get it right in a minute. Last time in this column, we looked at some of the more fanciful VR tech Sony has tried to patent, much like the banana controllers above. VR headsets that blow hot air and spray different odours in the player's face are fun advantages that we aren't necessarily expecting Sony to roll out commercially. And they could actually incorporate this with this new interface, because it could sort of serve a dual purpose. And they could spray all sorts of things in your face, but maybe we don't want to go there. Certainly if you're using an orange controller, I wouldn't want to be squirting orange juice in my eye. And if you're using your non-luminous passive object, I'm pretty certain most people wouldn't want that squirting in their eye either. But less about that. Let's move on to talk about this controller. As you can see here, there's a design here for a new controller that is probably going to be relating to PSVR 2. Obviously, this is early days yet, but this is more serious, and this is quite interesting. Certainly, Sony need to move on with their controller for VR, and I think the old Move controllers, they served a purpose, but they're dead in the water now. They're not going to be resurrected yet again for use with PlayStation VR 2. So maybe this could be the kind of design we'll see. It'll probably go through lots of design iterations, and it won't look like this when it finally arrives. But it's good to see that Sony are working on it. But anyway, look, I just wanted to talk about this. It was a bit of fun. Maybe we will see something from it. I doubt we'll see too much from it. But as with a lot of these things, they just give us little insights into what the industry's looking into. And they also give us little insights into stuff that we might see that doesn't directly necessarily relate to the particular patent at hand. But yeah, as I say, it was a bit of fun. This here is interesting, and I'll be interested to follow on with that and see what happens. But for now, I'm done, and I'm going to split. I'll speak to you. God, I can't talk at all now. I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.